Hey there. Today we're going to talk about something called a formal technical review. Now, I know that sounds kind of serious, maybe even a little scary, but what if I told you it's actually one of the most supportive and, well, calmest ways to do really great work with other people? Let's take a closer look. You know that feeling, right? That little spike of anxiety just seconds after you hit submit on a huge project? You start wondering, oh no, did I miss something? Is there a huge obvious mistake that I just stared at for hours and didn't see? Yeah, we've all been there. It's a totally normal feeling. And there's a good reason for it. It's because making mistakes is just part of being human, especially when you're creating something from scratch. So the goal isn't to be perfect, because let's be real, that's impossible. The real goal is to have a safe, gentle way to catch those little errors that are bound to happen.
And you know, people who do this for a living, like software engineers and designers, they don't leave this up to chance. They've built a method, a kind of structured teamwork that's designed specifically to find those mistakes early on, when they're easy and way less stressful to fix.
And this right here is really the core of why this all matters so much. Finding a small typo with your teammates during the process, that's just a quick little fix, no big deal. But finding that exact same mistake after it's been turned in, or worse, after a client is already using it, that's a whole different level of stress, and it takes so much more work to correct.
And this isn't just a hunch either. There's real data on this. Big companies have found that when they systematically review work, it cuts the cost of fixing errors by a factor of 10. Seriously, it's a massive game changer for saving time and energy later on.
So how do you actually create a process that feels helpful and supportive instead of, critical and nerve-wracking? Well, it really boils down to just a few simple principles. And this one is everything.
This is the golden rule. If you forget everything else, just remember this one sentence. The whole conversation, the entire focus is on the thing that was made. The report, the code, the presentation. It is not about the person who made it. It's not about judgment at all. It's about making the thing better.
And when you stick to that rule, something amazing happens. It just takes the fear out of the equation. It creates this culture where it's okay for something to not be perfect yet, because everyone knows the team is there to help improve it, not to point fingers.
Just let that sink in for a second. The whole feeling changes. You go from that lonely thought of, oh, did I screw up? To this shared creative question, okay, how can we make this even better?
Okay, so once you have that safe foundation, the second thing that brings this feeling of calm is having a little bit of structure. A good review isn't just a chaotic meeting where everyone shouts out opinions. It actually follows a really simple, predictable flow.
And the process itself is really straightforward. First, everyone takes some quiet time on their own to look over the work. Then, you all get together for a short, focused meeting to talk about what you found. And finally, the person who made it takes all those great notes and makes the improvements. That's really it. Prepare, meet, and follow up. It's a totally manageable rhythm.
And the last piece of the puzzle, the thing that really makes this process run so smoothly, is that everyone has a clear job to do. When people know what they're responsible for, it just gets rid of all the confusion and keeps things on track.
The roles are super simple. First, you've got the producer. That's just the person whose work is being looked at. There's a review leader who kind of gently steers the conversation, a recorder whose job is just to write down all the good ideas so nothing gets forgotten, and then the reviewers, the people who offer the helpful feedback. When everyone knows their part, it just works. There's something really freeing about this kind of clarity. When you know exactly what your job is, you can relax and just focus on doing that one thing well. You don't have to worry about what you're supposed to be doing next. It turns potential chaos into a really calm focus.
All right, so all this theory is great, but how can you actually, use this in your day-to-day life as a student? Let's talk about a super simple, no-pressure way you can try this out on your very next group project.
You don't have to use all the formal names or anything. Just call it a team proofread. Before you hand in that next group assignment, just set aside 30 minutes. One person can walk everyone through their part of the project. The rest of the team just listens and gently offers ideas to make it better. Have one person be the note taker, and always remember that golden rule. You're looking at the work, not judging the person.
And that's really what this is all about. Creating something truly great is almost never a solo performance. Learning how to get and give this kind of structured, gentle feedback, that's not a weakness. It's actually the secret to doing incredible work together. Thanks for spending some time with me on this.